Hey folks, it's Abby. I have a lot of books that I need to get rid of. I have a lot of books that are just sat here waiting to be donated, and given that the charity shops need things before Christmas, not after, it is time to go through these so I can take them down to the charity shop. I do want to mention two books that aren't here because the wonderful Carrie from Caring for Books took them when she came to visit, and that is D by Michel Faber and Lost in a Good Book by Jasper Fforde. So for D by Michel Faber, I unfortunately was really disappointed by this book, but hopefully Carrie enjoys it more. And Lost in a Good Book by Jasper Fforde. I love the Thursday Night series, but I primarily listen to them on audiobook from the library, and so having the physical copies for all of them just isn't that important for me. So I was happy to let one go to a good home where they will enjoy the series too. Into my bag of books. That thump was more books falling out, and that's my boyfriend texting me. Oh dear God. Now these four books I am hesitant to get rid of, and it's for a kind of silly reason, although I think you folks will understand. So these are the first four books in a series that in the US is called The Last Apprentice, and in the States is called... no? In the US is called The Last Apprentice, and in the UK is called Spooks. It wasn't until I was much older, because this is a middle grade series, that I learnt why the US does not have the same series name as the UK. Doesn't tend to get used to mean that over here. I got these editions from the States when I was there on holiday. My parents got me them. I really enjoyed these when I was reading them. They're really interesting. There are illustrations included through them, and they were bought for me by my parents on holiday, so I have like an extra link to them, but I've never reread them ever, and they just sit and take up a fair amount of shelf space, and part of me thinks that just someone else could really enjoy them instead. So there is a part of me that's like, no, don't get rid of them, keep them forever, and there's a part of me that wants to unhaul them. So here they are. I'm sad that they're going, but like, do I need them? I don't know. You guys tell me. Then another one that makes me sad, but for a very different reason. So this one was gifted to me by the aforementioned Carrie, as I nudge my desk. And this was a really interesting book on geology. But right at the end of this book, the author says some bullshit about autistic people, and it just soured my entire feeling of the book. Like, I don't need this in my life. So hopefully someone can pick up and learn some geological lessons from this one and just ignore the bullshit that's at the end. 7 Endless Forests by Genevieve Tucholke. I adored The Boneless Mercies, and I did really like this one. It was fun, but I didn't love it as much as The Boneless Mercies, and therefore it felt a bit more disappointing. This one was gifted to me by the wonderful Becca from the Comic Book Sanctum. Thank you so much for giving me the experience of reading this, and I hope you don't mind that I'd like it to go to a home where it'll get loved a little bit more. Of course I will be keeping all of my gift notes that are in these. I'll have to go through them all and take them out. Rivers of London by Aaronovitch. I enjoyed this and sped through it, but there was sexism in it that just really annoyed me. And whilst maybe in another life I would have like just read the series anyway because the rest of it's really enjoyable, there are so many other series out there that I can read. I have enough books on my TBR without adding one that I enjoy despite the sexism. So this one can go back to the charity shop where it was found, and someone else can read the series. None of you will have heard of this. Neuer Schwung. That is a comic that is written by multiple people. We have Rudy Miel, Maud Millecamps, Alexandra Tefje, Vanya, and you. This is all in German. I got this when I was 16 from some sort of EU initiative. That shows how old I am. Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. This one was sent to me by the publishers. Thank you so much, folks. And whilst I did end up enjoying this one, the beginning of it, the first 100 pages, made me want to die. I would have given the book overall 4 stars if you remove the first 100 pages, but the first 100 pages were so bad I almost DNF'd it and didn't finish it. I only read it because it was sent to me by the publisher. So this one can go to someone that'll actually appreciate the whole book. For some reason, you weirdo. Loosely based on a made-up story by James Blunt. My dad read this and didn't enjoy it, and then I read it and didn't enjoy it. It's loosely made on a, like, the title is accurate in that some of it's just bullshit and some of it's true, and you don't know which of it is bullshit and which of it's true. And for context, this is supposed to be a memoir, and it was a very quick read. I don't need it on my shelves. Someone else can read it and redonate it. Kim by Rudyard Kipling. This was gifted to me by the lovely Caitlin from... You've changed your name. Letters from Conradi, fuck my life. And I did enjoy reading this, but I don't think I'm going to keep it on my shelves. So once again, thank you very much for the reading experience, and I hope that you understand that someone else can enjoy this more on their shelves. Then I have Moriarty by Anthony Horowitz, which is the second book in his Sherlock Holmes, I believe it's a duology, but his series. House of Silk, I picked up on a whim in a charity shop, read it, absolutely fucking adored it. Moriarty, found it, knew it was the sequel, was like, ooh, and then just found it fine. So I've decided I'm going to keep House of Silk, which I usually don't do. I usually don't keep parts of series, but I'm going to keep House of Silk. I feel like it's easier to do so with stories like Sherlock, because they are very much like segmented, even the originals, into their own section. And this one can go back to the charity shop. James Patterson, The House Next Door, 3 chilling stories. This one was gifted to me by my dad after he read it and finished it. It was good. I enjoyed it. My favourite one was The House Next Door. No surprises there. And yeah, this one can go off to a new home. The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This one was gifted to me for my 26th birthday by Hannah from Ladder M. Thank you so much, Hannah. This one I found really interesting, but unfortunately I am not drawn to finish out the series. And whilst I think I may try to finish the series out by getting it from the library or listening to an audiobook from the library, I don't think I'm going to carry on with the physical series. So once again, thank you so much, Hannah. But I would like to give this to someone else who will appreciate the book more than I do. Another Jasper Fforde, and that is The Big Over Easy. This is a part of its own series in an interconnected world to the Thursday Next series. And again, I read it, I really enjoyed it, but I don't think the sequel's even out, and it's been years, and I don't need to keep it on my shelves. I picked this one up from a charity shop, and it can go back to a charity shop. I do love this series though. If you haven't read any Jasper Fforde, I highly recommend. So enjoyable. And then, all out of order, because they were just shoved in the bag where I could get them, I have the Red Queen series. So there's multiple reasons why this one is going. Let me just hold it in a slightly better way. One reason is that whilst this series was a staple of its time and was a staple of YA dystopian, unfortunately it doesn't hold up as well now, and I wouldn't recommend this to new readers anyway. But on top of that, Victoria Aveyard has been, as far as I'm aware and as far as I've seen on social media, has been pro-Israel. So I don't need that on my shelves. I don't know if you saw before, but there's a Palestinian flag over there. We are pro-Palestine. So these ones can go, and someone else who wants to read them can get them from a charity shop and not have to monetarily support the author. And that is my little unhaul. I say little, there's still a fair number of books. Oh no, I have to count them. Why do I do this to myself? 22! 22 books that I am unhauling, which is not the biggest unhaul I've ever done, but it's big enough that I cannot lift them. And so I consider that a success. Let me know down below the last book that you unhauled, and whether you think I'm making a mistake in getting rid of any of these. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!